recording, so we have it. I think that's a reality. I think people are so afraid right now to spend money that they're being more methodical.
Mm-hmm.
They're being more methodical in the choices that they make to move their businesses forward. I mean, I can
Oh
only
yeah.
speak for myself, but I'm being super methodical. I'm like, spend money on that or spend money on that.
Yeah.
What's
But the difference for you, your business has been closed a lot longer than most people as well.
Oy vey.
Yeah. So yeah. But I'm pretty sure you're really excited about opening back up again.
Hail to the yeah. Yeah.
I was excited to read about that last week that y'all were going to be able to open again. So.
I know it's kind of interesting because social media right now is just a hot ass mess.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you post, someone's pissed off about something, and someone had said to me like, "Oh, people are so tired of your ranting about the governor's office, or you're ranting about the PPP," and I'm like, "No, see, my ranting is about an obstacle and a challenge, and then here's the solution I came up with, right? So it's part rant, part solution, because one thing we're seeing right now is that you got to make a whole lot of noise to get stuff done,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what it is. You can't just sit and think it's going to work itself out. And like everything that's going on in the world right now is a great example of that. But us getting open, was a funny. They sent me down a crazy path of call this person, call this. No, this one's in charge. No, that one's in charge. Nobody knows who's in charge. And then
Mm-hmm.
I found someone with half a brain at department. I know I record these. Someone will hear this. I, I found somebody with a whole brain at Department of Commerce that once I was able to explain it, and it took it out of the process of being a process of
Mm-hmm.
filling out a form. Once there could be a human to human conversation,
Mm-hmm.
then someone's like, "Oh, this makes no sense why you're not open."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Glory, hallelujah." I literally almost started crying. I said, "Are you kidding me? You act what? What? You understand me? Stop it." I'm like, "I don't even need to open at this point. I just needed to be validated." So she gave me cell phone numbers of people high up to call, and then she said, "Let me go see what I can do. If I can't get
Mm-hmm.
something accomplished today." Mind you, it was 5:15 at night when she called me. You call this person first thing in the morning. And then she called me back in 10 minutes, and she's like, "You're approved." I was like, "That was it?" It was just, that was it. I said, "What about my brother and sister theaters?" They're like, "Oh, they're all going to have to go case by case." Yeah. But I got the how to go case by case, and then sent that to all the theaters. Like, here's how. Now the larger theaters will struggle. That's the problem. They're saying no more than 250 seats total. So 50% occupancy, no more than 250 seats. So that means your maximum seats can be 500 seats. Well, Alabama and Carolina Opry and all those guys, they're not going to qualify for that. But I said, still be the squeaky wheel, because this is still an issue of attractions are open. So what's the
Mm-hmm.
difference between letting a 2,000 seat theater have 1,000 people versus a water park that's got thousands of people going through the water every day?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
What's the real? But it's that communication of like going to someone and saying and making a case. Making a case as calmly as possible. So
Mm. Wow.
I mean, it's not like it's not going to be a lot of work, because it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of
Yeah.
work to get us reopen and follow guidelines and marketing and et cetera, et cetera. But it's progress. It's progress. Does anybody else have happy news? Happy progress news? What is good and exciting in your worlds? Tamars, let's go with you. Did Pete Gasco reached out to you? You guys are getting hooked up?
Oh yeah. So it's been a busy weekend. So I did his podcast on Friday.
Oh,
We
awesome.
recorded a podcast, and so he's posted on his LinkedIn page.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Yeah, so we had a great time, great conversation.
That's great. So for everybody on this call today, we talked to Tamar's last week on this call about everything going on, and to get his perspective as an African American male dealing with what's going on in this world right now and trying to create conversations. And someone saw that video from our meeting last week and said, "Can I get an introduction to Tamar's, because I want to put him on a podcast to talk about this." So thank you for being open to do that,
Hey, no problem.
because I think that creates conversation, and that's important.
Oh yeah.
So awesome, good. So he's already got it posted on LinkedIn.
Yes, he did. I think he posted it on Friday.
Okay, cool, awesome. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll go grab that and share it in the Facebook group so everybody can listen to that.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. Anything else new and exciting for you that is pivotal in your business right now?
No, we're still working on a number of really special projects and doing some demos. So trying to help some businesses become a little bit more efficient. So it's been a little bit slow of a process since folks aren't actually in the office. And a lot of them, they kind of take their time with responding back to you via email since they're working remotely. So it's taking a little bit extra time, but it's getting done.
Good, good, good. Carrie, anything new, maybe innovative, progressive, or just a good piece of news going on in your business?
No, we have new products, the antimicrobial doorknobs and access control, which we've gotten a couple of inquiries about access control. And some businesses that I've done estimates for 2 years ago just to prove them. So I'm happy about that.
Well, that's a good reminder for everybody that you need to consistently be working on your sales funnel and your process. So what does that mean? It's like if you have products that little did you know how important they would be today.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly being at it and pushing things is going to result later down the road, not necessarily immediately, but you have to always be in that mindset of selling and promoting and educating 24/7. I feel like that's all I do.
Same here.
That's all I'm doing. It is sales, 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 and awareness. So good. Amy, welcome back.
Thank you.
We haven't seen you in a few weeks. We're excited to have you back here with us.
Yeah, I wanted to come join you guys today. It's kind of exciting to see our county starting to open back up. There's still a lot of, it's hard being an outside salesperson who's supposed to be, going door to door to businesses and set up meetings and lunch and learns when there's still so many people and businesses that are closed. I get it. Everybody, this is a situation the world has never seen before, not in our lifetime anyway. And, looking for positive things. I've tried to stay positive this entire time because there's so much negativity around us. From what happened to George Floyd to COVID to the flooding that's happening in our county right now. I was out helping two friends of mine move Friday, and there's just a lot of heartbreak and a lot of bad things going on. So it's nice to see a group of people who are staying positive, because I feel like if we stay on the positive side and always look for the silver lining, we're all going to get through this. God willing, we're all going to learn something from this. I certainly hope so, because for me personally, this has been very stressful mentally. It's hard to see people suffering and not being able to do anything about it. And the thing that's probably affected me the most is the amount of anger, because I feel like anger is an energy that we send out. So I feel like we just really need to support each other in our businesses right now, professionally, personally, any way we can.
Awesome. So good. So you popped in for a little group therapy is what you're saying.
I think we all need some therapy and help each other through right now.
Well, I think so. And these Monday meetings that I started when all this went down was really to just kind of keep people to have a space to come to, even if it's just to hang out here for an hour and talk or dump or brainstorm or collaborate. It is to have a positive water cooler to go to, where it's not all negativity all day long, and maybe an ounce of amazing brilliance will come out of it that you can put into your businesses, or it's just having the positive energy and remembering to stay grateful for where we are and what we do have. And could you imagine if we didn't have this platform?
Mm-hmm.
No, and that's probably one of the most interesting things, because being in my job doing sales, I'm really an extrovert, so I'm very involved in chamber networking things, and I see some familiar faces that I've actually missed seeing in person, because having to quarantine and isolate is against everything that I know. So this Zoom and I've actually been able to meet people doing things this way that I never would have otherwise. So we've all had a massive shift. This has been a huge learning curve. So thank you, Gina, for doing something like this, because I always learn something from somebody else when I do one of these.
That's awesome. Good. And, you made a comment about, we're all going to learn something from what's going on right now, or at least all the things going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of learning. Is there like one key thing that resonates with you that you've learned through this?
Well, honestly, personally and professionally, I've learned that we need to learn to have conversations with each other. And I feel like sometimes I'm dealing with a situation today in my life where I need to communicate with another person who has really kind of stonewalled me a little bit. And every time I try to communicate with them, they see it as a confrontation. So I feel like we need to learn on our conversations, because I feel like a lot of what's going on in the world could be solved if we could just sit down and talk to each other. Just have a real talk, respect the other person, listen to what they're saying, and even if we don't agree, we can at least respect each other and talk.
Oh, in the improv world, we call that yes and.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming from a place of acceptance. It doesn't mean we have to agree with each other. We just have to be willing to shut up, listen, validate.
Yeah, because even
And
if
yeah,
I don't agree, I'm still going to learn something.
yeah, exactly. It's funny you bring that up about conversation. This is kind of an aha. And my podcast co-host and I are doing an episode on this. And so I can be really transparent about it because we both agreed to it. We're recording an episode tomorrow about how our partnership almost broke up last week over everything going on in the world right now, and social media, and a disagreement about doing a show about racism, and like her misunderstanding me and me misunderstanding her, and things that are on Facebook. And like literally it was she resigned from the show on Friday. And I've known her long enough to know that there was something bigger going on. And so I just opened the doors to give her space to talk. And it took 2 hours, but we talked it out, and like really came to a place of totally understanding each other, getting straight with everything, and realizing that it could have been really easy for our relationship to just die if we didn't have a difficult conversation. We both almost got off the phone mad, but we kind of breathed through it. And kind of our like little running joke right now. It's not even a joke. I want to find a way to monetize this. So is everyone familiar with Marco Polo?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Rachel and we Marco Polo each other all the time. That's my co-host. And I knew something was wrong when she wasn't Marco Poloing me last week. I knew like she had disconnected from me, because that's kind of like our fun kind of way to connect when we're like stressed out during the week, right? Because it's one way, right? It's you get to speak, that person's not interrupting you, but you can like we're goofy with it. So we had our big talk over the weekend, and then I had time to process and digest some things she had said that were still upsetting me. So I put it on Marco Polo to her, and I'm like, I'm going to just put this here. You can sit here and you could watch it and digest it watch it again, digest it again. And when you're ready to talk about it, talk about it. But this was like a way for us to go back and forth and just have space to breathe into it. And so now we have an agreement that the only way we can have difficult conversations is by using the macho voice filter. So we're presenting a difficult thing in macho voice. So that's it's impossible to be angry because we're laughing at the other person at a serious topic in the macho voice. But it's really, I said, this is sort of like therapy in the talking stick, when you give someone the stick and you're like, you get to talk now and I have to shut up. Well, some of us that have a hard time shutting up. Marco Polo, I'm just saying, which I have now renamed Try Marco Polo. They don't know that yet, but that's my running joke. So I think, that's really important, to be able to have conversations. And going back to emotional intelligence, tapping into like where people are really angry right now. There is so much emotion and fear and pain, and you have to stay, you gotta be present to that and not take it personally. And that was kind of my conversation with Rachel. It's like, I knew there were things underlying and I couldn't take it personally. I mean, I listened to some of the things that maybe I was at fault for, or things I can work on, but there were bigger issues. And that's why I called her. I'm like, you don't really actually want to quit the podcast. You really just want to quit me right now. Like, but we were able to work through that conversation. But it's like all the emotions that are pent up right now for people. It's brutal. Sherry, what's going on in your world?
Well, before I start, I have to say, Amy, you need to do a side hustle. Teach people how to do those eyes. Oh, you look great.
Tamaris will look amazing with those eyes.
So I write for South Carolina Woman, and we did not go to press with the last issue, but the restaurants that I had planned to write about said they don't want to go this month either, but we'll wait for the next month. So we're also trying something new. We're going to go more on the digital side. It's stagnant right now, but the site has been moved, so we need to get interactive. Just the problem is we don't have the login information, so that's critical. We've also been experimenting with, when we go do restaurant reviews, do a video. So she and I were playing around with that a little bit, went to a restaurant and filmed each other. It's a big learning curve, but I think it's going to be good. But we need a little help and we need to learn how to do it. So that's kind of exciting going forward. The other thing, Amy, that you said about having conversations with people is so important, but sometimes it can backfire. So I know a woman, this is prior to even the COVID, but politically we have the same education background, but politically we're so opposite. We decided to have coffee and talk about it, to explain to each other. And it was a very, very nice coffee. Unfortunately, she kept slamming me with information on her side. And I kept saying, stop, enough already, enough. And she's kind of a conspiracy theorist. And finally, I just had to block her. So that backfired. It could have been good, but it backfired because she just didn't listen to me when I kept saying enough.
Well, she wasn't open, Sherry, and that's my whole point, is like, you have to be open. You don't have to agree. And if someone can't be open, again, it's like someone said, the things I might post on Facebook, she said, you think you might lose clients from that? And I'm like, I hope I do. Like, I mean, you have to be who you are. Otherwise you're going to be out of alignment with people. Yeah. And if it's important to you to work with people who are open-minded, even if you don't have the same views, well, then that, it's good to not work with that person.
Yeah, well, she wasn't for business. It was just somebody I'd met. And I thought, us having the same background, we both have MBAs. So I thought, we can have a really great conversation, but we're just very, very opposite. And
yeah. Well, you can send her my way for one of the virtual improv classes, so I can get her straight on. I mean,
I think she needs it. But
those are my favorite. Those are my favorite people to have in a class. to turn them around. You said you guys are having some challenges and learning curves on the magazine, and I want to ask you, maybe is there a specific thing that you're dealing with? As fate would have it, Lea Woodford is joining us from Phoenix, which is awesome. A friend of mine and previous podcast guest, and she's amazing in the digital magazine world. So it's kind of serendipitous that she gets to join us today because she's a pretty busy lady. So Lea, thank you for being here. It's good to see your face.
Oh, thank you. I was putting on my hair and makeup, and I finally got in here.
Yay!
Yeah, I have been in the well, I've been a publisher forever, but in 2010, I launched smartfem.com, our award-winning digital magazine, and I was listening to you. You're on the right track because we do a lot of reviews. As a matter of fact, I have 3 magazines, not 2 anymore. Some are digital and print. So define digital for me. Is it blog style or is it flip magazine style? I need a little bit more information. I do both, so.
Well, right now it is, actually it's 3 magazines. I pretty much just write for one. They are physical magazines,
Okay.
and they're digital, but the magazine itself is digital. It's no interaction.
Okay.
So that's what we're working on right now. And I used to have a magazine of my own, totally digital. So I understand how to do it, but I need the login.
Well, the login's kind of key. I think what you're wanting to do with video is going to be really, really important, video reviews, but I want to know before you really get good at it, before you start doing it. Practice, practice, practice on your phone. Look in the camera. You know, like you guys, I'm looking at all of you on the screen right now, but when you are doing, sorry, I have a broadcast background, you're going to want to look into the camera. You're going to want to talk like you're talking to one person instead of just, I mean, it's deer in the headlights. I see everybody all over the place, but when you're doing a video review, you have to make a connection with the audience. And that's the biggest thing that I see, is a lot of people aren't making that connection, especially on Zoom calls or video reviews. They're looking over here, they're looking over there, and it's awkward for the audience. If you look at newscasters, it looks like they are talking directly to you, and their teleprompter is right there. I'm gonna say, don't use a teleprompter. Just 3 key points, look at the camera, but practice, practice, practice. Don't do it. Don't charge anybody for a review if you can't nail it, because you won't have a chance to go back.
Yeah, well, we thought we'd go back to our old advertisers first and just do it, just to, like I said, practice. We did one.
Just practice talking in your phone first. You know, just practice before you even go to them. And where are you gonna, the other thing is how you're gonna distribute it. Where are you gonna put it?
Well, see, that's a big issue right now. So online, we need to share it to different sites, which I've got a pretty good list. But the physical magazine, a lot of places are telling her she can't deliver. So that's a challenge.
So let me just show you real quick what I do. This might give you a little bit of a clue what I do. I do a digital, but I do a short run print. Like here's one that I did with Jack Canfield. And you want to do both if you can. And you don't have to do a big print, but it makes a big impression. You know, we know it's crazy in COVID. We're going to deliver a couple, but in the meantime, here's a review that we did with the physical magazine, which we're giving to you. You kind of got to wow them right now, because they're overwhelmed right now. And a lot of people are hitting the pause button. You know, a couple of our big advertisers, Jeep, said, can we hit the pause button for 3 months? Yeah. So I said, sure, but I'm still gonna put you, I'm still doing marketing because it's good faith, you know. And I know it wasn't from them. I know it was from Warren Buffett. So I just said, you know, that's fine. And I still continue to deliver the value and maintain that relationship, because I know your clients will remember whether you were there for them during COVID. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do. Thank you.
You're welcome.
How perfect to have you here, Leah. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. We're all figuring out this dance, you guys. We're all figuring it out.
Yeah, and I know, Leah, you had to turn your conference into a virtual conference. What's going on with that? And can you tell us a little more about that? I know my friend Scott Ferguson is one of your speakers.
Yeah,
I
he
know I
is
was
just,
hoping to come see you, but what's going on with it?
we've moved it to October 8th and 9th. We did make it virtual because there's nothing worse than having a lot of momentum and then, hey, we're not going to have it. I was fortunate enough to be a speaker judge for Pete Vargas's Advanced 360. They had like 1,100 people on that call. They, you know, as opposed to the 500. So it was funny. I was a speaker judge Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Thursday and Friday I had to convert mine. So I had 2 days at night to convert mine to make it engaging. And we actually got new clients, and we booked new people, and people are joining the conference. You have to be really innovative. And what's great about live events is, you know, sometimes the magic happens in the hallway, at dinner, at lunch, in the bathroom. You know, it's not just the speakers on the stage. And how do you recreate that when it's a virtual? And the breakout rooms are really, really super special for that. And I apologize, you guys. I have a Google Voice number that's ringing through my computer, and I don't know how to get rid of it, but it'll stop in a second.
Maybe tomorrow's knows.
But that's really it. You have to remember it's about your audience, and you got to allow people to engage, just like what you're doing here, Gina, is people are feeling isolated and alone right now, and they're trying to figure it out. The one thing that you got to do is survey what people want. Gina's asking you guys questions right now. She's asking questions. How you doing? What's working? What's not working? You got to give people what they want. And in order to know what that is, you have to ask them questions. How can I serve? You know, so, and then you just got to serve it in a really cool way. Bring in other experts. This is the biggest thing that I see with a lot of people. I bring in amazing experts, and that's why our call was full. We were Zoom bombed, by the way, and we didn't lose anybody. And it took 30 minutes to regroup, but every awful thing that could happen, we had 2 guys Zoom bomb us. There was poor misogyny, racism, the whole thing. And the content was so good up until that point. You know, it took us 30 minutes to regroup and get everybody back on the call, but we didn't miss it because the show's got to go on. And fortunately, Zoom has done a lot of things for security since then, but scary to think kids were learning from Zoom at that time. But I think really you got to rethink the way you do things. Competition versus collaboration. I couldn't have got this done if I didn't have amazing strategic partners who could really help me turn it around. I think people tend to hold everything right here, and you move faster and you move farther with really good strategic partners.
It goes back to that go-giver mentality, which I'm super excited. We're interviewing Bob Berg this week from the Go-Giver book for our podcast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're super, super psyched about that. So that's great. And that's your Casey, which is how I met you, Leah. So, you know, again, it's how do we continue to expand our networks and show up and find out what people need and just have conversations. That's so important right now. That's why we're here every Monday. Hopefully someone gets something out of the call, but I think every week someone gets some level of growth or some piece of information. Again, it's great to have Leah here with her expertise and her background, which is amazing. Check her out at smartfem.com. Tell us a little more about the conference in case anybody wants to attend it.
Well, you guys, I'm going to invite you guys for free.
Awesome.
You're welcome to come if you go to smartfemnetwork.com, because Gina's one of my strategic partners. And it is for speakers and authors and entrepreneurs, because whether you're a speaker, author, or coach, you're an entrepreneur by default. And that's one of the biggest challenges I'm seeing for small business owners, and I know you see this too, Gina, is getting off the hamster wheel and creating an infrastructure and multiple streams of income. So that's really what the conference is about, is bringing in amazing content providers. I mean, we've got the former marketing director of NASA. We've got, we've got Michelle Villalobos, who is a world-renowned speaker. We've got a ton of people providing amazing content, and that's really, navigating this new COVID world. And I just wanted to apologize, Gina, that I hadn't been here sooner. I wanted to, but I recently recovered from COVID. So I'm going to say, guys, it is real.
Wow.
It is very, very real. So I wanted to be here, I just wasn't able.
Well, you look fabulous.
Well, I'll tell you what,
it
it
was
was
fabulous.
8 days of hell, and it's real. It is really real.
How's your husband?
He's good too. He got it, but he recovered so much faster than I did. But I'm a 2-time cancer survivor.
I was going to say you have a compromised immunity.
So it's real. I'm going to say, guys, wearing a mask doesn't show weakness. It shows that you are selfless. And we're having a real surge in Arizona again, because they opened up everything and people aren't wearing masks anymore. So I think if, as long as you stay safe, socially distance, wear a mask, and be responsible, you will be fine. I'm just going to say it's real, though. And I'm glad I can finally be here for you, Gina.
Oh, good. Awesome. Thank you. And if none of you have heard Lea on our podcast, Women Your Mother Warned You About, go check that out at our website, womenyourmotherwarnedyouabout.com. Leah's interview was a few weeks ago, so you can go learn more about her. Her story is amazing and inspiring, and we're excited. I'm excited to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Only thing I'm disappointed about with your conference, I know there was going to be a big party in the hangar with the planes.
Yes.
Because her husband
still going to have that. That's going to be happening after the summit on October 9th, Friday the 9th. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And I just really love, I really love the event planning part of it. We've lost a lot of revenue because we haven't been able to have the event parties because of COVID.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to open it up again. A hangar is a big empty box till you put something amazing in it. So
yeah,
I'm excited. It's fun.
It's pretty cool. I got to visit Lea in February when I was on vacation, and she took me to one of the planes, and it was super fun, super fun. So I can't wait to come back.
I love what I do. Interestingly enough, my husband's company is just kicking ass and taking numbers. Yeah, jet charter has taken off. Nobody's flying in commercial planes, but his jet charter company is, pardon the pun, taking off.
That makes sense. Especially if you got the money to do it. That makes sense. Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you again for being here. And it's serendipitous because of the things that Sherry's been dealing with. So that's a great resource. Alicia, what's going on with you? This is your first time with us.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I really appreciate it. Lots of things. I'm going to go around the circle for a little bit. Lee, my husband's, actually, my stepdaughter works for United Airlines. She's a pilot she's flying as we speak on 777s. Anyway, and she's flying cargo now. They're not even flying people, which is interesting. But they have a company called RARE, R-A-R-E, aircraft.com. And they do vintage airplanes. And their business, they're out of Minnesota. They're just south of the Twin Cities. And so their business is huge. People are just buying all sorts of airplanes and themselves. So that's a nice connection. I look forward to hearing about your hangar experiences more. The other thing is Carrie. My husband's also in construction. It's called Kehoe Constructors, and we need what you have. We need these micro barrier door handles. We're
Oh,
doing,
great.
one of the things we do is, I do marketing for them, is we do what's called universal design, universal living, helping people stay in longer for all generations.
Okay.
So we'll get emails from each other and share that, and we could use your product.
Oh, great. I'd be happy to help. Thank you.
Very good. And I'm in Lexington, South Carolina, so it's not far. Okay, who else? I met Carla before and some other folks. I have a call in the morning. It's called the Round Table here in Columbia with Ron Harvey. And we have about 60 of us on there. We talked about this morning about the racial disparities. I'm a child of the 60s, and I was tear gassed during the teacher strikes in New York City. I was in Queens. We had another speaker from Brooklyn, and we both shared. And it's very interesting how now the younger generations are experiencing something totally new and different. I'm a business coach, and so my exciting thing is, before I get off the other subject, here's a great quote to share with you, and I'll give this to Gina. The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members, and that's by Coretta Scott King. I love that. I'm going to use that going forward. And one of the things we talked about this morning is how you're going to, and for myself, have 2 new words. Reflective, how am I going to reflect on my memories of those past times and currently, and talking with my associates who are of different nationalities, and also how am I going to take action. So reflective and action. And think about, it's all about yourself, and it's all about making that relationship and that phone call and talking to the other person and finding out having them hear your story, but also to, of course, to have their story now integrated into your being as well. So those are the 2 things there. And my third thing, very exciting, is Gina, my book is coming out.
Yay!
It's hard copy. And there's 3 books coming out. This one is for the 50 plus crowd. It's reinventing yourself. And then I found I got a kick in the pants today because I have the other 2 books coming out, about one for Gen Xers and one for millennials. I'm going to write whole new chapters on, and one of my other things is doing job search. Whole new chapters on remote resumes. They have a very different format than the regular resumes we've been sending forever. So I could like stop the presses and change this. I'm not going to do that. I'll have another version of this one. But for my other ones coming forward this summer, there's a whole nother way of doing remote.
Really interesting. Keep us up to date on that, because that's interesting. And I know I did an introduction for you and Michelle Sirocco, who's also in Phoenix. Mm-hmm. Did you have an opportunity to connect on ways to help the women in prison?
No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to get on the phone with her. I'm going to call her and just say when's a good time. We've been emailing back a little bit, but we haven't gotten a date. So I'm just going to give her a buzz.
So little intel for, we're always trying to find ways to connect with people. She's a brand new grandma. So she is in major grandma mode right now.
Okay.
So just I know this week she's got the baby while her son and daughter-in-law are on vacation, so she's in grandma heaven. So
okay, I'll wait till next week.
Yeah, so just as an FYI, what's going on in her world, and as a way to connect with her as a grandma. If you're a grandma, I don't know.
I am a grandma. I have 4 grandsons.
See, there we go. So that's a good connection point. Awesome. Well, thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much. This is really very wonderful. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Carla, what's going on, Carla?
What's not going on, Gina? I'm staying busy. For me, this time has really been about reflecting on how we've operated as a business and how we can change for the current times. So we're restructuring our packages. I actually am bringing on another resource to help us with doing website updates, because we've got a small team of 4 people, and we're really tapped out. So I found a external company to help supplement our overflow. And so that is going to open up some doors to new packages because of the way they work, with us and how they're partnering with us. So really starting to solidify some new partnerships
Good.
during this
were you
time.
able to connect with one of the recommendations I gave you, referrals I gave you
Which one?
for website?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Debbie.
And that's moving on. Which one?
Debbie.
Debbie? I don't
Debbie,
know about Debbie.
Design Spinner.
Oh, I have not connected with
Okay,
her.
okay.
I need to. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been
She's another
closing
one who
some
could be
other
a
things.
resource for you to outsource.
Yeah, from the design perspective, because we've got the development side. And for anybody on the call, we have a web design development company and we do digital marketing as well. So we're really growing the website side of it, and also rolling out some starter packages for small businesses who are on smaller budgets, not really willing to commit to the premium packages that we offer. So those will be rolling out here in the next week or so once we start fleshing out some processes.
And do you know Lea? Because there's like 6 degrees of Dallas somewhere in here. Because
Dallas and Phoenix, yeah. I don't know her personally, but I know of her. So
okay.
through you.
Okay,
Hi,
good.
Carla.
Hi, Lea.
Are you in Phoenix too?
No, I'm actually in New Mexico, so just a step across. But I was in Dallas for 19 years. Moved out here about 2.5 years ago.
It's the like 6 degrees of something. So I know Carla through people in Dallas, which I also know Casey because of Paige. That's how I know you. And then I know Casey because of Lori, because of Paige, and then Casey brought me to Lea, and so
sounds like Paige is a connector because I know Paige. That's how we met.
Yeah, so Paige is a
I don't think I know Paige.
You don't know Paige Dawson?
Mm-mm.
I'll have to do an introduction. Paige is out of Dallas.
I have a large group that comes to the summit from Dallas. I have the Sioux Falls people and the Dallas people. And I'm not sure how that happened. Well, I used to do WFAA TV, Good Morning Texas, out there. So I have a pretty good following out there.
There we go. How'd you get connected with Casey?
She came to the summit.
Oh, okay.
Someone from my Dallas peeps said, hey, you should come to the summit. She had a major breakthrough, and then she became part of the Smart Femme entourage, and she's part of the Smart Femme fam.
Awesome. Love all the connecting and networking to bring people together. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to have people from all over on this call today. I think I've hit everybody. Does anybody have a challenge that they need help with in overcoming, or just something that you want to put to the group?
Gina, I just want to hop on a call with you. I'm working on a VIP speaker academy. There's a couple of things I'm working on right now. And one of the things that I'd like to do is see if you would be open to coaching a little improv.
Oh, of course.
Just because I'm finding that as an event planner, I'm getting besieged by a ton of people that want to speak on the stage and they don't have a demo reel. So we're creating a package. We're going to, make a audience and film people in the studio, but I want them to really get clear on their signature talk before we film them. We'll film them on the stage, and then we'll take them into the TV studio, really get a real quick media interview with them, and we're going to make engaged demo reels, because I'm connected to 155 event planners, and so many people don't have a demo reel, and they will not hire you without one. So
remind me to give you my demo reel.
Yes. And our shows are on Amazon Prime, so we're very gifted, and I see a lot of people paying a lot of money for really awful demo reels. So I've decided to do that because I'm getting some really either no demo reels or really awful ones, but I'd love to talk to you about the improv piece and getting people comfortable on stage.
That's so my jam. So that's perfect.
I know.
So my jam, and that's something that we're also, taking on virtually. You really hit some really great points about looking to the camera, right? So I have broadcast experience behind the camera more so than in front of it, but I also experience as a publicist, so I've had to do a lot of interviews. So I know where to give a soundbite. I know when to shut up for an edit point, right? Like all those, because I interned in a news at ABC. Like, so I learned, like, I sat in an editing bay every day for months to really understand, even when I watch the news now, I know exactly like where the tease is going to be, where where they're going to insert.
When they're going to bump.
Yeah, I know, or like I can feel it. It's in my blood. But that is something that I've talked a lot about just the little nuances. Not just having a speaker reel, but now all these speaking engagements I was doing, now everything's going virtually. So I feel good that I'm able to go virtual more so than most. But you really hit it. Like, I'm talking to you now. I can't see you, but I know if I don't look at the
camera.
But
you're looking right into the camera. And if you just lean forward when you want to make a point, and look into the camera. But see, we all are paying attention when you do that. You do that when you want to emphasize a point, or if you're doing a video, like a video reel, video review for somebody, hey, you need to come to this restaurant. I got to tell you, look at these appetizers and show them. There's a skill set to it.
Yeah.
I do Jeep reviews. I do Lexus. So I do it with cars, but it's the same thing. You have to really engage with the audience. But even with that, though, I think the sound bites and improv and being able to think on your feet is so important, Gina.
Yay.
And
awesome.
Whether you're on a stage or in a TV studio, a lot of people have deer in the headlights. So.
Oh yeah, it's funny, and I know you can relate to this. Like, I always know where there is a camera in the room, whether it's a TV camera or a photographer doing a shoot. I always know where to find the lens.
Yep.
How to deliver a soundbite. Like, I have fun with it. Like, that's what during COVID I've tried to do things of just reaching out to local networks to be a subject matter expert for small businesses, just to get on camera.
That is such a great way, you guys, to market your business, is to be a subject matter expert. And they're looking for content, and they're looking especially for people who can deliver amazing content virtually right now.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to market.
When thank you. Like, I had to get creative during this time, so I've got like 2 more TV interviews scheduled coming up. One this week, one next week. I don't know. I've lost track, but I do a lot of interviews just for that purpose. I feel like I'm working a lot. But when we get off of this call, let's connect via email and find a time to have another conversation offline.
Absolutely.
I would love
and
that.
Thanks for inviting me. Sorry, it just took me a little while to get here.
No worries. You're on the list, so you get the email every week. And what's great about this group is people come into this group when they need to. Some people are here on every call. Some people are here every other call. Some people are once a month. I made a commitment to keep this going every Monday. It's just a way, an escape for an hour. So you're here when you need to be here.
And I'm just going to say, guys, now's a good time to reach out to people that you've been wanting to interview or connect with. I just recently, my new magazine's about to drop, Smartphone Success for Speakers, Authors, and Entrepreneurs. And on the cover is Aaron Brockovich. I interviewed Evan Carmichael and business coach Allie Brown. And I've been chasing Allie Brown for 3 years.
Yeah, kudos to you on that.
Well, the reason is they're home now. So anybody with a digital magazine, now's a good time to reach out to people that you've been wanting to talk to, because they're available now.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great advice. Anybody else have, we got 9 minutes technically. Sometimes we go over, but I like to keep you guys as an hour to respect your time frame. Anybody else have like I just want an opinion right now. Sherry, I feel like you want to talk, Sherry.
Well, it's not about me, it's about my daughter. And I just wanted to mention to Leah, my daughter does something similar. She is a communications manager for a major medical association. And part of her job is to set up the press at their annual conference, which is the week after Thanksgiving. So she's working on all live, all digital, and half. And her gut is it's going to be digital, but she's struggling with that, putting it all together.
Have her reach out to me if you want to connect with me. I'll be happy to talk to her.
Yeah, if she needs to. I think it's just that the company has to make a decision because it's 20,000 doctors all over the world, and her feeling is they're not coming. So it's just been a struggle for her because she's, of course, working home with two little ones.
Oh my gosh, probably homeschooling too.
No, they're 7
they're
months,
little.
7 months and 2.5.
Oh, okay. Oh,
so they need
my
attention.
God.
But just, she's got her normal workload plus extra with COVID. So it's just a struggle. So I hear what you're saying, and I hear this from her, the unknown, and just trying to put together 3 scenarios as opposed to just one.
Well, it's always about having a plan B.
Yeah, and she has A, B, and C.
Right. You need all 3 right now. But I will tell you this, it is possible to have engagement. It is absolutely impossible to have engagement. And Zoom has a couple of really great packages. Zoom Enterprises allows you to have thousands of people on your, so there's some opportunities, but she's got to really navigate it. And I'd be happy to talk to her about it.
Okay, if she needs it, thank you.
You're welcome.
And Sherry, what I will do is I will do an email introduction between you and Leah, and Carrie, I will do an email introduction between you and Alicia.
Thank you.
On those things that you want to connect to. And when I do the recap email for this, I'll also send out information about Smart Femme Conference for anybody who wants to sign up. So typically what I do is I take the video from this and then I put it on YouTube and then share that out so people who couldn't make it can go back and listen to it and pull the resources out. And I'll put those resources in the things that we talked about. I'll put in the YouTube notes so that everybody has them, and then I'll do the email introductions.
Gina, one last question. I'm going to get my ask in gear. I'd love an article on improv.
Sure. Tell me more. Like what Carla's loving this because Carla and I have a meeting in a half an hour about my branding and marketing and
I'm doing more blogs.
I know. Do you want anything specific in the twist of it?
Yes. The why improv is great for speakers. It'll be about 1,000 words. Any kind of photos that you have, they got to be high res because we do digital and print. Okay. I have a little contribution sheet I can send to you, but I thought I'd put you on the spot, get my ask in gear, and say, hey, Gina.
It's always a yes. It's always a yes for me because I like to call myself a media whore. So,
well, all righty. Good.
Any opportunity to get content out is always a yes. And it's sometimes the only way I get it done is when someone puts it on me and gives me a deadline to do it. So
I have found that to be true. And I find that if I don't put it out in public, sometimes it just never gets done.
Well, the accountability ear is right here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, good.
She's going to move it to the top of my list of things to do. And then what kind of high res photo do you want?
Would like one portrait and one landscape of you in action on stage improv.
Okay. I got those. Okay.
And of course a short bio and of course a headshot.
Yep.
I'll send you all this, but
cool.
But
awesome. Great. Thank you for that. Thank you for putting the ask out. I love it.
Oh yeah, I got my ask in gear.
Yes, everybody's got to get their ask in gear. With that being said, does anybody else have any asks or any parting words?
Gina, I'd like to give a special offer for the book out. I'll give it to you on email.
Okay.
And if anybody would like to have it, I'd be very happy to do that, taking some advanced orders. Thank you.
Great. If you want to email that to me, and then I'll include that in the weekly recap email.
Thank you.
That'd be awesome. Thank you for that. Any others?
I just want to comment on Amy's eyes too. They look amazing. I don't have a
Thank
steady
you.
hand. I could never do that.
Well,
Amy,
I have practiced. I joke, and people always ask, how do you do your makeup every day? Well, I get up in time, and I was actually born in 1974 before the makeup tutorials, and my mom had books from Sophia Loren and, some of the beauties. So I actually used to sit in our pantry when I was a small child looking at these beauty books. So I was inspired by Dolly Parton and Sophia Loren and just some beautiful women that this is what it turned into today. So I always say lipstick is power, and I can do anything when I have that on, and words always look prettier coming out of lips with lipstick.
oh, I like
I
that.
like that.
Even Tamar's likes that. We can't see him, but I can hear him laughing with us.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think war paint is important, and I put my war paint on, and as long as my face and hair is did, I can handle anything that comes my way.
Amen. Today's like the
That's
first.
how I feel about my big girl shoes.
Yes.
Shoes are my thing.
Awesome. I didn't put on lipstick. It's like the first time ever that I did not put lipstick on. I wanted to see if anybody noticed. You'll need to do a tutorial for us, Amy, sometime.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That would be.
I'll get
fun.
up really close and show you. I'll make Leah proud.
Oh.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Perfect. All right, Tamar's, anything else from you? I know you're off camera. I just want to make sure you got what you need.
Yeah, I decided to go off camera since everybody else put their face on today and I didn't. So,
We'll make
but no, just want to know I'm with Team Logic IT, and we do all things related to technology. So if any of you have any technical challenges that you're trying to overcome, if you're looking at a different way of bringing in some efficiency in your business, saving some money, please feel free to reach out to me. We'd love to have a conversation with you.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Can you throw your website in the chat so I can include that?
Sure.
That'd be great. Okay, everybody.
Nice to meet you all.
Thanks for being
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet everyone.
Everyone have an awesome week. See you back here next Monday.
Thanks, Gina.
Thank you,
Gina.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Gina.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.